It's your boy, Ed the Dread, aka Eddie Money Mouth, and you are tuned into the Money Mouth Podcast. Yes, thank you for joining me on another Money Mouth Monday. Here we are, back at it once again. I'm your main doo-doo stain, Ed the Dread. Yes, y'all. And we are on episode 2. We're just going to leave off kind of where we stopped with the last episode. And speaking of how I got the name Ed the Dread, right? I was kicking it with the homies that grew up with actual Rastas, right? But I don't consider myself a Rasta per se, right? Like I go by Ed the Dread and I get dreads, right? But I'm very far from religious. So Rastafarianism isn't in my repertoire. You know, I live along the lines of how Rastas would, or any other, Bushman. But I actually would say when it comes to like religion, if I was to claim, I would claim Hindu Hawaiian, right? Like, I definitely follow Shiva, right? The homie that invented yoga, all the 8 limbs, not just the asana. Okay. I generally refer to my hair as dreads and or jata, as they would Shivas in India. And anytime I burn, I have a mantra that I say out loud to bless the herb, bless the sacrifice, and torch the greens, So, with that said, we today's podcast story is going to be on the first time that I smoked herb. Wow. We're going all the way back to 1999, y'all. So we're going to do like Prince did, and we're going to party like it's 1999. Oh, man. So honestly, I was really late to the show. I was a junior in high school. To be fair, a lot of my friends, maybe not a lot, but a number of people in my close friend group were burning in like middle school. Definitely high school, people were getting it in, and I was definitely not part of that crowd. My mom was on top of me at all times anyway. Like, she smoked cigs and burned and would be like, let me smell your breath when you come in the house and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? If you watch this, Mom, go ahead with it because you know that shit was actually happening. But yeah, like not only did she like scare the shit out of me, but I still am, and I was an athlete. So, like all your dare classes and all your health classes, and they will scare the shit out of you into trying anything as a kid, which, maybe they shouldn't scare you, but they should definitely give you the information, and hopefully you make informed choices. Right? So growing up, I had a number of pretty close friends. I played multiple sports, and not every one of those people played every other sport. So I would say I probably had like a best friend from every sport I played and from my neighborhood. So by the time I'm like ready to smoke herb, I've got a number of friends that all kind of want to be like the first person to burn with me because, I waited so damn long. It's like I said, 11th grade. It's like we're on our way out of high school damn near. People have been partying for like a while. And I was always a straight edge guy. So now it's almost like it had been the thing to try to get me to smoke. And now that like, all right, I'm going to do it. It's like, I don't want to choose which one of my best friends to like smoke with first, which was like, I don't know, thinking back to the scenario, it's like, why the fuck didn't we just roll one and all burn together? Like that would have been much easier. But I guess I didn't have the brains to say that shit at the time. I don't know. I was too young, whatever. So, so as opposed to burning with one of my closest friends and like dissing everybody else, I just know that there's dudes in my math class that burn because I'm a junior. I'm in like a I don't even know, maybe algebra 2, calculus, something at the time. But I knew there were seniors in my class and that like 2 or 3 of those guys smoked. So I just rolled up to them one time in class. I'm like, hey, like if y'all gonna burn after school, like I'm trying to get in, you know? And they're like, all right, well, fuck it. Come over to homie's crib. And like thinking back to the scenario, like I have no fucking clue how I got over to the guy's house after school. Uh, but whatever, we're in his garage, and this is like before cell phones, before all that. So like whatever's going down, like I can't just readily call nobody. I can't do whatever. I'm just in for the ride. So we're over there, and like they have a blunt, and it's like we're in the garage, right? And they light that shit up, and we start hitting it, and it's like winter. Which it is out here. So if you think that I look crazy right now, it's like 60 degrees or something. So we're freezing out here on Maui. Like I fucking see like 6 feet of snowfall overnight, but I've been here 6 years now, and 60 degrees is like difficult. Um, but anyway, so we're out in homie's garage, right? And I just remember having gloves on because it was cold. It was like winter time or like the end of winter. And they light this blunt up and, and pass it to your boy. So I'm over here taking puffs. And like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, like the homies all kind of disappear, but I hear their voices. It's like one's over there behind the wall, one's over there behind the wall, one's all fucking over there. I'm like, what the fuck? So I like walk into the house. And then I go into the bathroom. And I'm like, yo, I'm fucking. This is crazy. I'm bugging out. I gotta go like wash my face or whatever. I'm like in the bathroom, and then my hands catch on fire, and then the walls are on fire, and like everything's on fire, and I'm just fucking bugging out. Now I'm like, turn the sink on. I'm like fucking dousing myself with water, and then like the homies come in and they're like, hey, what are you fucking doing? I'm like, I like snap out of it. I'm like, yo, like I'm like soaking wet with gloves on and shit. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And like little did I know at the time, but these motherfuckers don't just smoke herb. Like they treated me like Smokey and Friday. And the shit ends up kind of being like Smokey and Friday, to tell you the truth, without a fucking chicken coop. I ended up like a Taco Bell or some fucking shit. But yeah, bro, these cats had what was called boat back in the day, which was just herb and PCP mixed together. So like, here I am on this fucking PCP ride that I have no fucking clue that I'm on. And like, it's crazy as fuck. So the whole house is on fire, shit. I'm like bugging, and now I guess they're bugging, and they're like, "Yo, we gotta get this guy the fuck out of here. Like, we gotta take him." So like all the homies kind of hung out at like fast food joints, not like we were hanging out at the Max from Saved by the Bell or anything, but like the local McDonald's or like the local like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, like homies would be there. So it's decided that I don't know how. But it's decided that my homies are over at Taco Bell, and these cats are just dropping me off there. Like, they're over it. So back in the day, in my area, it's like Baltimore, Maryland, D.C. area, there was a lawyer firm called Science and Kirk. Now, Science and Kirk had this commercial where it was like the first person view from a car, but like another car is coming head on to you, and it's like swerving, like the headlights are swerving at you. And then, like it hits you, although you don't see the hit. The only thing you see is like red and blue lights flashing and a payphone booth, which is the ones you put coins in for all you grums that have never seen a freaking payphone. So like the payphone booth comes out and it's like Science and Kirk. Like if you've got a phone, you've got a lawyer.
Science and Kirk's new free entry hotline number now at 1-800-LAWYERS. Because if you have a phone, you have a lawyer. Science and Kirk.
So cousin, every time we're in this whip, every time that fucking whip comes around a turn, I see the Science and Kirk commercial. It's just headlights, a fucking thing comes down, boom, into the middle of the road, and I'm all fucking, oh my God, if I got a phone, I got a lawyer. Oh my God. So then these cats get me to Taco Bell, and, I don't remember the exact circumstance, but it was like, the Chalupa had just come out, 1999. Chalupa's out now.
I said, drop the chalupa. Put it down, man. Yeah, drop the chalupa.
And the shit was tripping me out. And I just remember going in and out of the store like 100 fucking times, bro. And then like one of my friends is like, yo, they're calling the cops. And it's like, everybody has to break. So I think somebody took me home. I don't, what I'm saying? It's the craziest scenario because in the afternoons, generally both of my parents would be home at that time. like at that time, especially like late afternoons, it was like my dad worked nights and my mom like worked at a school. So it was like she'd be home and he'd be like getting ready to go to work. And like I came home like that, right? I don't know, I don't know how I made it in the house. I don't know if I spoke to them. I don't know nothing. All I know is that I was high as a kite. And then the next day, I was all like, what the fuck? I was at class. I was like, what the fuck was up with like, oh, that was boat. And I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, you owe me $5. I'm like, man, go fuck yourself, dog. I ain't giving you that shit. Y'all crazy. So then, later on, I don't know how much longer after that, I chilled. But then I did end up burning. And like, it was kind of like a pivotal point in my life where I grew up outside of DC and you go on all these field trips and you're always kind of like bombarded with like, yo, America's great, like these are all the great things we've done, these are the monuments, this is all the stuff you want to remember that's good, and they kind of just shove all the bad shit under the floor or under the rug. And when I started smoking weed, like I started realizing like all that shit. It was just like I specifically remember thinking that like we are just always at war. It was like, oh my God, like third grade, one of the first things, one of these days of school, I roll into the class and the teacher's fucking rolling a TV and she's like, hey, we're going to like turns the TV on. We're like, what the fuck's going on? It's like little green flashes. Like, what's it? Oh, it's the first missiles of fucking Desert Storm and shit. It's like, bro, and ever since then, I mean, I graduated high school 2001, and the fucking World Trade Center got fucking demolished. It's like we just been at war for my whole existence, but I didn't think about that really before. Also, consumerism. The reality of consumerism hit me like crazy. And my family, not like we were fucking dirt poor, but it wasn't like we could just go buy designer clothes and shit. Like we had cleats for soccer, we had the essential shit we needed. But like if we was going to Ross or like what was the place? Rugged Warehouse, if you was going to get some, or Marshalls or something, if you were going to get something name brand, and it was like the like fucked up Stitch shit. So like at that point though, I was like, yo. A guy that I end up being friends with later, it's national news that he gets kicked off, or he quits the St. John's University soccer team, who has the first sponsorship of any collegiate program, Nike, and he's doing like his master's thesis and looks up their fucking slave labor practices, and it's like all this shit. So I started like fucking flipping my shirts inside out instead of fucking polo. I'm like drawing my own logo, E24, and all the homie shit on there. So it was like the realism of like consumerism and capitalism and just the taking advantage of people, and there being like this higher class of humans that don't give one fuck and is just making money off of everybody. And then there's like maybe some of us that are like in the middle, and then there's like homies that are like really like getting walked over. And it really hadn't dawned on me until then. Also that, politicians were fucking liars. Okay, it's like like when you're a kid, like you think you want to be a fucking police officer or a fucking firefighter or like your local fucking politician or fucking governor or some shit, and it's like, nah, like that shit started really making sense to me. It's like, yo, you remember Billy Clinton was getting his dick sucked up in the White House and then like said had nothing happened, but then like, oh, that shit for sure happened, and I mean, not like fucking all, like, okay, there may be some politicians that aren't liars, right? But the majority of these motherfuckers are just saying whatever it takes. It's like when you trying to be the class president in elementary school and you're like, yeah, no more pizza Friday, pizza every day, recess from second to fifth period, and everybody votes for you, and you can't do that shit. But like, it was a cool idea, and everybody got stoked on it, So like, fucking, they'll tell you whatever. Right. And not, it just it finally dawned upon me that, maybe they might not be people who should be trusted so much. Now, with that said, I also found out these motherfuckers are ugly as fuck. Are you serious? Bro, like, why are all the politicians in America like the oldest bitches on earth? Right? Like, what does this old ass fossil looking motherfucker have to do with anything I'm doing in my life? Like, yo, like if you can't walk upstairs straight, like how could you make decisions for us? Right? You got Nancy Pelosi looking like a motherfucking meerkat. You know what I'm saying? Put that bitch up in meerkat bear. Yo, her fucking kente cloth fucking COVID mask was like the fucking neck sensor for the fucking meerkat mom. That fucking old ass chick, dog. And then what's his name? Mitch McConnell. Come on, my boy, get a turkey waddle on his neck, dog. It's the only motherfucker on earth that looked like a bird and a reptile. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a turkey and a turtle. Like, if you put that motherfucker in a wheelchair, he would be fucking Mayor Jonathan Carlton Lynch from fucking Rango, bro. The guy who's like cutting off all the water to the desert, yo. Like, oh my God, the ugliest motherfuckers ever. Trump, come on, dog. You can't be serious. The guy looks like the lemon heads fucking, or orange heads, like the candy, the orange heads. That's what the motherfucker looks like, orange heads. And then Biden, dog, I can't even. It's like, I can't even look at him, but bruh, my boy fell off a bike. You know what I'm saying? So like, just cut it out. Oh my God. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like maybe we could just end on that. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? That was the story of the first time that I burned and the realizations that happened after it. So one thing I will add to that is I fully believe that waiting that long to partake in smoking and drinking and those things helped me to develop just a little bit more. You know, whether it's patience, whether it's drive, whether it's, you know, actually deciding what I wanted to do and be or whatever, you know. I've witnessed a lot of people like do a lot of drugs early. It's kind of a thing that my dad talked to me about when we had like our father-son talk in life. You know, he's like tells me about the things he had seen and what I shouldn't be doing. And it's like, I don't have kids, but I can definitely say to this camera and microphone that I have for sure seen, you know, people do a lot of crazy things at a young age and, you know, what it ends up doing to them later. So I would suggest, if can, you know, take your time when getting into any of your adult mind altering activities, and just stay focused on things you want to be. And even if you do partake in certain activities, you can still be successful and do what you want to be. Just don't let them run your whole life, right? Like one of my good friends told me one time, do drugs, don't let drugs do you. So if you're going to do drugs, don't let drugs do you. Yes, and that was your Money Mouth Podcast, baby. Click like, click subscribe, share if you care, and if you don't, I don't give a shit because I'm going to keep doing it. It's Ed the Dread. Money Mouth, baby. A hooey ho, Kako. One love. Yes, I.